في مقابلة مع الشرق أجراها الزميل وائل خلال مؤتمر ليب 2024 في الرياض، قال الرئيس التنفيذي لمجموعة سافي للألعاب الإلكترونية التابعة لصندوق الاستثمارات العامة السعودي بريان وارد إن الشركة تسعى إلى أن تكون الأولى عالميا في مجال الألعاب والرياضة الإلكترونية، مضيفا أنها تعتزم زيادة أعداد الكفاءات السعودية العاملة فيها. نتابع.
And I mean, this is the core mission of Saffi, is to be the driver and the sort of the tip of the spear, if you like, for games and esports within the kingdom, the national champion for games and esports. We essentially have three pillars: to invest and become a leading investor in games development and games publishing, become a leading investor in esports businesses worldwide, and to bring both these development, publishing, and esports businesses to Saudi Arabia. And then third pillar is very important, which is working with other stakeholders such as government ministries and others to develop the right sorts of programs, incentives, training and development, and incubation and acceleration to help Saudi Arabia become the next great global gaming hubs for our industry.
Great. So let's go into details over your success and developments and on these three key pillars. What have you done so far under the three pillars, and how do you measure your success? Because you're a new company, you've been in the market for 2 years.
Yes.
So how you measure your success?
Yes, thank you. So the first thing we did within 60 days of starting the first board meeting establishing the company, we made an offer which was accepted for the purchase of two esports companies, ESL and Face It. These were the leaders respectively in live events, esports, broadcasting of those events, and online tournament play for Face It. We combined those two companies. That was $1.5 billion, that transaction together. Then we added a third company last year to that, an American company called Vindex. We also made a 30% investment in a Chinese company, which has about an 80% market share in China and Asia. So we now have about a 40% market share worldwide in global esports along those live events and broadcasting lines. That was esports. That's what we've done in esports so far. About 1,300 people altogether in these units. On game development and publishing, we purchased a company last year in America called Scopely. This is the #4 mobile games company worldwide. They have a very massive hit game right now called Monopoly Go, which some of your viewers hopefully are playing. So that makes us the 11th largest games publisher in the world now, with about 3,800 employees worldwide, 175 here in Saudi Arabia, with plans to add about 400 more in the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you know, in Saudi Arabia, we love 2030. That number is magical to us.
Yes.
So if I want to ask you, what are your plans from now until 2030? And what are your goals by 2030?
Yes, so the mandate of the company is to become #1 global games and esports company. This is from His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, our chair, and from the board. Our stakeholder, of course, is the PIF, 100%. And so, you know, we're #11 global games publisher now. We have to get to #1 by 2030. We will have to continue to make some smart investments in games publishing. In order to do that, we will have to grow our esports business to capture more, not so much more market share, but more eyeballs, more users, more attendees at our events, to improve the quality of these events. We're operating the Esports World Cup this summer here in Riyadh. We're very happy about this. And then the third pillar is, you know, our job is to assist the achievement of the goals under the national strategy for our sector, which includes creating 39,000 jobs and 250 games and esports companies in the kingdom by 2030. This is a very large ambition, and it's our job to try and attract companies to come here and to try and create enough jobs of our own as well.
I see. Talking about growth is amazing, but also it comes at a cost. So any figures that you are allocating at the moment for all these, you know, huge plans that you are embarking on?
The investments that I mentioned so far in Scopely, all the esports stuff, and the investment we made in a games publisher called Embracer adds up to about 8.3 billion riyals, or $8.3 billion actually, I should say. So we've got quite a bit more of the allocated capital from the PIF and board left to deploy. We're not in a hurry about this. It's more important to make the right decision than to make it's more about sound investment over long term than it is about deploying capital. I think on esports, most of the major investment from us has probably been done, but we've still got a lot to do in games publishing.
But you're happy about the investments that you made, and the returns are, on paper, they look good?
Yes, overall it's good. There's some things are amazing and some things are less amazing or need improvement, but Scopely, as an example, has done an amazing job, basically doubling the size of the company since we acquired it 9 months ago.
So what I get from you is that you're going to be on a shopping spree. You will be growing, expanding, so more acquisitions maybe in the future?
Yes, I think so. I mean, organic growth is important, and we're focusing on the esports side and optimizing these businesses that we've combined together to make sure that we're providing a good return and achieving profitability soon. And on the games publishing side, we'll be looking for opportunities to capture another industry or category leading game or more than one game, and if we can acquire the asset or the team that makes that game, then this is really how you create value in our industry.
I see. Well, most people, they love to see tangible things and they feel the impact and effect of what you are doing. So can we say we are at a stage where we can, or people here in the country can feel the presence and the impact of Safy, or this is something that's still under process and maybe we'll see it in the future?
I think we've still got a lot to do in the kingdom. We've created 175 jobs, but we want to create more than 1,000 direct jobs for Safy with people in the kingdom. And we're a sponsor of Al Halal, so people will see our name on the jersey, so they might be very familiar with Safy from that perspective, but they won't yet see other aspects of us, except perhaps for Gamers 8 and the Esports World Cup, which we've operated and done some sponsorship for. But we've got a lot more to do in this area, and I think once people start to see the training and development programs, the incubation and acceleration programs, and to start to see other companies, big name companies from our industry coming here with our help, to establish their own entities and create jobs, and people will hopefully be very pleased.
Yeah. Talking about Al Hilal, sponsorship, well, this is something that people here in Saudi Arabia, many of them talk about, at the beginning when you announced that, the sponsorship deal. Everyone was saying, okay, number one, why a gaming company will sponsor a football club? Something totally, from two different realms, two different worlds. The second thing, why Al Hilal? I mean, there is plenty of clubs here in Saudi Arabia, so why Al Hilal? I hope you got that answer for all these people there.
Well, certainly on the first question, the kingdom has made quite a splash in football with the privatization of the 4 clubs. And acquiring some top players from around the world. I've been reading articles about what an impact this has been making in the marketplace and in uplifting the Saudi Pro League. And the PIF, of course, has more than 200 portfolio companies and projects and so forth. And they like to find synergies amongst these portfolio companies and projects with each other. So it made sense for a big entertainment company like Safy to be considered for sponsorship, and we were very happy to be selected by Al Halal. I don't really recall the mechanics of why Al Halal and not some of the others. CAFT, of course, is a sponsor of Nasser, I think. So maybe that one was taken, I don't remember exactly. But anyway, we were very pleased to be selected, and now we have to do our job in making sure that people just don't see us as a sponsor of football, but as an actual value add to the economy and job creation.
I see. So let's talk about this year. What are your plans for this year?
So this year we'll be focused a lot on the execution and operation of the Esports World Cup through the summer here in Riyadh. We'll be focused on further optimizing the esports business following the combination of all these companies over the last 2 years. We'll be focused very heavily on this Saudi Arabia ecosystem building and working with a number of partners under the national strategies, various ministries and corporate partners from elsewhere and so on. And then we hopefully will allow our new acquisition, Scopely. They're very good at mergers and acquisitions, and this is how they've achieved growth. And hopefully we will be able to enable them to continue on that path this year also.
Okay, but Safy itself is not looking for new acquisition this year.
No, we will. We will if it happens to fall into Scopely's remit, which is essentially mobile first, free-to-play live services, game production and development, then it might come through us, might come through them, but we'll work together to enable that transaction to happen.
Nice, and you will be focusing on the region here when it comes to
worldwide. Worldwide.
So, what about the East? Because I've seen there's a lot of interest in China and the East. Are you going to keep focusing on China and the East, or you're going to spread it
pretty
evenly?
much worldwide? And I think the opportunity here in Saudi Arabia, not just in games, but perhaps in other industries too, is both. Not only is Saudi Arabia, of course, geographically between East and West, but geopolitically it's kind of between East and West also. And in our industry, we're friends with everybody. We're friends with the Chinese companies, we're friends with the American companies. The Chinese can't do too many things in the West due to regulatory issues, and even in their home market they have difficulties from time to time. They're looking for opportunities to grow their revenue outside of their own territory. We're happy to enable them if we can. There's lots of talent in China that we would be interested in if it's available. And similarly, American companies looking to expand beyond their market, we're happy to partner with them if the opportunity arises.
I see. So last but not least, this year, you have 175 Saudi employees.
Yes.
Or employees in Saudi.
Employees in Saudi.
Employees in Saudi. This year, are there any plan to increase that number?
Oh yes, absolutely. Absolutely, we'll add at least 100, maybe 200 to that number.
200.
Yeah.
Additionally to the 175.
To the 175. I don't remember the number exactly, but it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And Saudis among them, what is the
about
percentage?
60 to 70% Saudi, and about 25 to 30% female.
So you don't have an issue with talent in Saudi Arabia? There's plenty of talent?
The demographic base here is so ideal. A very young population, very well educated, very technically savvy, very interested in our industry and knowledgeable about and passionate about games. So this is just tailor-made for us. The challenge in growing the ecosystem towards that 39,000 job number by 2030 is ensuring that they have the right skills and experience to fill those jobs. So that's what we'll focus on again this year.